evidences of why I believe Revelation was written in what?
In around 60.
Yeah. Before the destruction of whatever. I've told you the first. I've told you in the synoptic gospels, that is Mark, Luke, and Matthew. Yeah? They all speak about the events leading up to the destruction of the temple in AD 70. Yeah? That is why I taught you about the Olivet Discourse. Yeah? I've done now 3 of those. Yeah? Where I explain exactly what Jesus was speaking about. But only John is the one that doesn't talk about that.
True.
Yeah? And I'm telling you that John's Olivet Discourse, where he discusses things that Jesus was discussing in his own way, okay, is the book of Revelation. Okay? He never includes it in the book of John. Okay? But that is, anyway, small. So I'm going to look at 3 things. Yeah? One is the architectural issues that we find in the book of Revelation. Why I believe Revelation must have been written before AD 70, before the destruction of the temple. Because when you say 95, 96, then the temple was already destroyed.
Long time, yeah.
Yeah? That is 25 years. Then we are going also to look at the sociological issues.
Okay.
Yeah? Still within the book. Then also we are going to look at another evidence, which is the political issues. Because if we don't establish when the book was written, then you're doing rubbish interpreting it in the first place. You understand? I told you that is crucial for any prophecy. It is crucial. That is why we give the prophecy was given. Otherwise, we will be people who are just watching news and just say, prophecy fulfilled. You understand? We put out dates and we give the prophecies while we are in service so that you know that the guy was saying this thing before it happened. You understand?
Yeah.
Yes. Give me Revelations 11 verse 1. Then I was given a reed like a measuring rod. We are looking at the architectural evidence. And the angel stood saying, rise and measure the temple of God.
Okay.
Rise and measure what?
The temple of God.
Not the destroyed temple of God, but the temple of what?
Of God.
Some will say, that one was a spiritual one. The altar and those who worship there. Meaning people are worshiping in that what? Verse 2. But leave out the court which is outside the temple, and do not measure it, for it has been given to the Gentiles, and they will tread the holy city underfoot for 42 months. Wait a minute. It can't be a spiritual one. Are you telling me in Jerusalem above there are Gentiles trampling over the temple in heaven? This is a physical temple.
Over time, 42 months.
You understand? And of course, all these things, they confuse you. 42 months is 3.5 years. Many of you don't know that Jesus' ministry lasted for 3.5 years. The man is being told to measure the temple.
Yeah. The altar.
Futuristics, they say, the temple will be rebuilt. That is their interpretation. Because they don't want to believe that Revelation was written before the destruction of the temple in AD 70. It shall be rebuilt. And why he is being told to measure it, is because when the temple was destroyed, Muslims tried to build a mosque where the temple was, but they were fooled. And because now they were fooled, they forgot that God actually fooled them. But when the temple is to be rebuilt, they will rebuild it in the exact place. So that is the explanation they give, because they are believing in a temple being constructed and all that. And even if it does, like I'm saying, this is such strong evidence. And we can't what? Underlook it. And again, like I said, give me Revelations 1:1. Let's examine some of these. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show his servant things which must shortly take place. Shortly. They were known to take place in 2,000 years after. You understand? And that's why some people actually bring our Jesus to mockery. People mock him. They say, no, Jesus, sometimes he's shouting, I mean 2,000 years later. You understand? But say, shortly take place, and he sent and signified it by his angel to his servant John. Of course, the temple was going to be destroyed shortly. Yeah? Like I give some prophecies, and they are going to happen shortly. Yeah? So, let's go to verse 8 of Revelations 11:8. We want to see the location of the temple he's speaking about, because some of you might say, the other temple, what if now it is a temple in Uganda, or it's a spiritual temple?
What?
Here he says, and their dead bodies will lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. We know our Lord was crucified where?
Oh my
In Jerusalem.
God. Oh my God.
Okay? So, spiritually, when he was being, crucified, the city was taken over by demons of Sodom and Egypt. So, spiritually, the city was now Sodom and Egypt. But physically, it was Jerusalem. So, that is, remember, verses 1 and 2, they've shown us our gentleman going to measure the temple.
Yeah.
You understand? I mean, if I'm seeing in a vision and I'm seeing California can't mean Kenya.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You understand?
Yeah.
This is a prophecy. We have to analyze it like people who understand how prophecy works. Are we together? Yeah. Okay. Like I said, the Bible interprets the what?
The Bible.
The Bible. 2. Then I was given a reed like a measuring rod, and the angel stood saying, rise and measure the temple of God, the altar, and those who worship there. Verse 2. But leave out the court which is outside the temple, and do not measure it, for it has been given to the Gentiles, and they will tread the holy city underfoot for 42 months. I told you, because John never had the Olivet Discourse.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
This is his version. Yeah? Give me Luke 21:24. I want us to watch another parallel to these words. Luke 21:24. And they will fall by the edge of the sword and be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem will be trampled by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. Now, we know in part, we prophesy in part. Okay? What this man never gave is the exact times of the Gentiles. What John gives you, he tells you the Gentiles will be trampling, same wordings.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
But for him, he adds for 42 what?
42.
Month. You get what I'm saying? So this makes more sense than getting out of the Bible so that I try to explain things that are supposed to be very easy.
Wow.
Okay? So, there is the evidence. So you're telling me the book was written in 96 AD, but apparently it is alluding to things that happened in AD
70.
in terms of prophecy? It doesn't make sense. You understand? This makes more sense. So, if the temple was still standing, there is no way you can tell us it was written in 96 AD. And I've told you, people have been doing these things. For you, you look at it as a simple thing, but it isn't. Okay? Now, the full-scale Roman war, I've told you, it erupted around, you've heard of the Vespasian invasion. I've spoken about that in Olivet Discourse 1. Yeah? It erupted around AD 67. Yeah? And the temple is destroyed in AD 70. Yeah? And, of course, when you calculate everything there, yeah, that is around a period of 42 months. 42 months. That is when the Jews became very rebellious. And these guys thought of demolishing them and everything. Yeah? So, the temple is still standing. So I don't know what you think about that, but yeah. Let's look at the sociological evidence. Sociological.